Welcome to the Flip Thinking Podcast. In this podcast, you'll listen to intimate conversations between Berthold Gunster and his guests. Together, they'll explore the guest's personal problem and try to make it feel lighter or make it disappear altogether. This can be achieved in different ways. Sometimes they can simply solve the problem, but more often than not, they'll find that they have to let go of expectations or views they hold about themselves. At other times, they can only observe the fact that there is a problem without judging it. And in some cases, they can flip think the problem.
Well, good luck. Have
Thank
fun.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's
You
get
too.
started. We kunnen draaien.
Okay.
Well, good morning. It's morning now. Good to have you here. Could you tell me something about yourself?
Yes, I can. I'm Maaike. I live in the south of the Netherlands with my two kids. They're 6 and 8 years old. And my husband. And friends are very important to me. Maybe nice to mention.
Yeah.
And I work as a nurse in the hospital.
Okay. Well, this is a first impression of what you do and who you are. And then the next question, of course, is why are you here? What's your problem?
Well, my problem is that I feel guilty about a lot of things all day long.
All day long.
Yes.
A lot of things. Well,
Yes, a lot of things.
we have a beginning now.
Yeah.
A lot of things and guilty all day long.
Yes. Well, of course, there are some moments that I do not experience. a
Now and then
feeling
you
of guilt.
sleep.
Yes, but no, there are lots of situations, and I call it guilt. Maybe it's not even the right word, but maybe we'll find out. So there are lots of different situations where I experience guilt, even when I rationally know that I'm not responsible. But
Still
I
you feel guilty about things.
still feel guilty. Yes.
So then maybe as a starting question, can you give me an example of something you feel guilty about, but rationally you know this is nonsense, I shouldn't, but I do. So the most idiotic example would be
Well,
the best to start with.
An idiotic example is that when my husband, and he suffers the same way, maybe more than I, from my guilt.
He does
and
too.
I feel guilty
Oh,
about it as well.
He suffers from your
From
feelings
my
of
feelings of guilt.
Okay.
So this is the example when
Yeah.
we, when you're sharing a household, he usually asks me some boring household type question like, did you feed the rabbits? Did you take out the trash bin? Do you know where the scissors are?
Just
And
as a question, I
just
presume,
as a
right?
question. He
Just
doesn't...
asking for information.
Yes,
Yeah.
because he doesn't blame me for not doing it. He just wants to know.
He wants to know whether he should feed the rabbit.
Yes,
Yeah.
But it's impossible for me to just answer yes or no. I always answer in, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought about it, but I didn't. I didn't do it." Or when he's not able to find things in the house, he doesn't expect me to know where everything is. But in a certain way, I expect myself. So for example, when he asks me, "Do you know where the scissors are?"
Yeah. Let's stick to this problem. I like
Yeah.
this problem. Yeah.
So
where are the scissors?
Where are the scissors? And I can tell him, "Oh, I'm sorry, I used it yesterday. I'm so stupid. I put it somewhere. Maybe we should make different agreement about where we put it, or we should buy more scissors so
Yeah.
we never will lose them again." And he even tells me he is so annoyed by this reaction every time he asks
I'm
me a
just
question.
asking where the scissors are.
Yeah, and I tell you, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Now you're angry, and I understand.
So there's double guilt then.
Yes, of course.
Great.
Of course. And
About scissors.
About scissors.
To be clear, right?
Yes, and even he tells me he doesn't ask me sometimes.
No,
because he doesn't want to
Right.
to go through this whole conversation. So I tell him, "Oh, I feel horrible that you don't want me to ask." So I see him sometimes looking. We renovated our kitchen last month, which
Yeah.
was a horrible story as well.
Yeah.
But that's another story. Of course, the stuff is in different cupboards now. Everything is not in its right place.
Where it was
You
once.
know, you know the situation, I imagine. So when he's cooking and I see him looking for something, I say, "Oh my God, are you looking for something? I might know where it is. I didn't put it in the right cupboard. Maybe we should make..."
So as soon as he's looking for things, guilt is entering your
I
life.
think I misplaced it, or maybe we should...
It's my fault.
It's my fault.
It's my fault.
He is uncomfortable because he cannot find... And he keeps telling me, "I don't mind. Yes or no is a perfect answer to me. I do not expect you to know where
doesn't help.
everything
It
is."
doesn't
It
help.
doesn't help.
No.
I still feel this discomfort
You
or
should have
guilt.
known where the scissors are.
Yes.
Yeah. So you take a lot of responsibility on your shoulders to take care of, I presume, actually everything.
Yes. And another example,
Yes,
maybe.
please. No, take your time. I love examples.
My kids are not very fond of having a drink in the morning with their breakfast, and that's fine by me. I know when they're thirsty, they will drink. So when they just have one sip of water and
They
their
won't
breakfast,
die. They won't die.
and they will drink water later. It's fine.
Yeah.
So that's not a problem to me. But for example, last week we were walking to school, and my 6-year-old son, he stopped and he shouted, "Do not walk so fast," in a squeaky voice. And then he said, "I'm so thirsty." And I said, "Listen, I offered you milk, tea, water. You refuse. You don't want to drink. You can drink at school now. I cannot fix this for you. It's not
Right,
my
no,
fault." And he told me, "I don't blame you. I'm just saying I'm thirsty." And I felt guilty, so the double guilt as well, because I thought, oh, it's horrible. I want my son to be able to express his feeling of thirst.
But now you're
without-
suppressing these wishes because he can't express them anymore, like your husband, because you feel guilty, and then he
Yes.
shuts his mouth.
And it makes
now
me-
you are a bad mother too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm the guilt-inducing parent by behaving like this.
Yeah.
And this means the history repeats itself and I cannot stop it. So that means I'm...
Because you give yourself a reason to feel guilty in this double loop, so to say,
Yes.
in a way.
And therefore, I make them responsible for my feelings. So I teach my son, you cannot express your feelings of thirst because I will get upset.
Yeah.
So I'm this guilt-inducing parent this way. And I know I don't want to be that, but I am. So I'm feeling guilty about that as well.
Yeah.
So
and
I'm
you don't,
stuck.
and you don't
I know
want to,
I'm-
and you don't want to feel guilty, but you still do, and then you feel guilty still more, right?
Yes,
So this
yes.
is a self-reinforcing
Yes.
kind of pattern.
I'm stuck, and I think I recognize the pattern, but I'm guilty of not being able to fix it.
Right. I get the picture. So now the two examples you gave, you shared with me. Thank you very much for doing so. It's about scissors and being thirsty. Are there severe, more problematic reasons that you should feel guilty or do feel guilty about? Do you have a more emotional example, a bigger example, a bigger problem? Or is it, or question to check, is this guilt only referring to all these daily situations?
No, of course not. I think in daily situations, it's often reoccurring. So I think, oh,
This is where you notice, right?
there's my guilt again. But I feel guilty, for example, I'm a nurse, so I have to work weekends, holidays, nights. So I feel guilty when I have to work and I'm not at home. But I'm finding parenthood really hard, especially at the age my children are now. I think because I feel so responsible for all these things I cannot fix. So I'm unable to be relaxed in my own house.
Which is a fact then, right? Which became a fact.
Yes, I
and
cannot.
then you feel guilty about this again.
Yes, I'm always very tense. So I'm tense in my own house where I should be able to relax, but I cannot. And of course, my kids feel that, and I know that, and I feel so guilty about that. And then I prefer.
If I may interrupt, is there sadness here, or?
Of course.
Yeah.
Even last weekend, I had to work. I had to work 2 evenings, and at work, I'm feeling better. So then I feel bad because
I feel better at work.
I feel better at work.
And then in a way, for your psychological pattern, you have to flee your house to feel at ease.
Yes.
Which is another burden for you to
Of
carry,
course,
right?
Of course, because I want the people I love to have the best version of me. But instead, in a lot of situations, I'm the person I don't want to be.
So you
and
have
I have this other side. I know, but it's difficult for me to show that because I'm always trying to fix things, reacting on everything everybody does and think, and I don't want to, but I cannot stop myself.
So how wonderful would life be for you if you were perfect?
Yes, it
That would be a relief.
That would be a relief.
But
yes.
unfortunately, you are a human being.
I know that, and I'm very aware of my faults and flaws, and I try to be open about that in a relaxed way, but I'm not able to.
Okay, I get the picture. So you want to be perfect, but you are not, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's some hesitation here because you don't want to say yes, right? You want to be perfect, right?
Oh yeah, but I know I'm not. Yes.
So how would you call somebody who is not perfect?
Well, maybe a burden to others.
You are
Too much. I'm adding problems to the lives of other people
So
instead of
basic-
fixing them.
Okay, let me take this in for a second. So you have this basic idea that in essence, You are a burden to other people.
Yes, I think so.
You're in their way.
I am.
You are too much
Yes.
on this earth.
Yes. But at work, I'm not.
Could you explain why in your work this doesn't occur?
I thought about this before, of course, because why can I not have the same calm and confidence I experience at work? Why can I not take that home?
Great question.
And I failed.
Again, feeling guilty in finding an answer.
I think at work I'm an experienced nurse. I work with
You know what to do.
very sick people. I know what to do and I know where my responsibility ends. So it's really on my job. I work with a lot of people who actually suffer. Sometimes they don't make it. They're in pain. They're very afraid. Their family is very sad. And
very emotional situation.
Yes, and
where your tasks are very important.
And I know what to do. I know I've got this. I know how to have a conversation with my patients. I can make them feel, even in their grief or anxiety or pain, that they feel I've got this.
Yeah.
And I cannot fix it. I know I cannot make them better. I cannot make
And
the
they do
situation
not
go away.
expect
They do
this
not
from
expect
you?
this from me. I know I can tell them what I can and what I cannot do. I can be very clear. So I understand why that's a nice situation for me to be in.
Yeah, but in a household, whose responsibility is it to know where the sisters are? This is not that clear as it is in your job.
No.
So this is quite understandable that being in a private relation, in a family household, these feelings of feeling guilty are more difficult for you than in your work. I get the picture. The examples you gave are in your household, in your family. Do you feel guilty to friends or family or other relatives
Yes.
too? Other non-professional situations?
Yes, definitely. And people I don't know either. So, for example, when I'm driving, I have to turn left at a certain point to enter my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But when there's oncoming traffic on the other side of the road, I have to stop.
Yeah.
And there are no traffic lights. But you know, when sometimes people are behind me, they have to wait as well, even if they do not
You
need
are blocking their way.
I'm blocking their way.
And then you feel guilty.
Yes, sometimes I even drive another block because
you do?
Yes, I do.
Now we have a good example.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And-
you drive another block
Yeah.
just to prevent yourself from blocking the guy, the girl, whoever behind you.
Yes, and the
Although
same.
you have to wait. By regulation, you cannot drive.
I cannot drive.
You can't go to the left.
I would get into an accident because there's traffic on
and
the
then
other
you
side of
take
the road.
an extra round
I sometimes do,
in order to prevent feeling guilty.
Yes, and not in order to prevent feeling guilty, but in order to not be blocking the way.
Well, this is, I think, a metaphorical, very interesting example because it's really about blocking other people's way.
Yes, I guess so.
This comes back to what we earlier talked about. That in a way, you are blocking other people to be happy. You are too much.
Yes.
Yeah, you are too much. So in a way, you are a burden. This is the essence, I think, right?
Yes.
So how would you describe somebody who is, by default, so to say, a burden for other people?
I'm struggling to find the right word for that.
Maybe it would help to look for a Dutch word, and we can translate it into English for the listeners, because we are both Dutch, right? So,
yes, we are.
And this podcast is really about language too, because finding the right word where it hurts the most, this is where the liberation might start. So, what would be the best word to describe somebody who is a burden for other people, blocking their way to be happy?
Well, selfish.
Egocentric.
Yes.
Let me help you with some words.
Selfish, egoistic.
Someone who doesn't care about other people,
care.
right? Unsensitive.
Selfish, careless, unsensitive, loud.
Loud.
Being too much. I think that is what it is.
Okay, let's rest these words for a little while. So how was this in your childhood when you were a younger girl, in your family or at school? Did you receive messages from people that you were too much?
Yes, definitely.
From whom, if I may ask so?
Well, I think teachers, my parents as well. And I experienced that in situations as well when I didn't notice. So I was
just unaware.
Being,
you were just being a child.
Yes, just being myself. And I'm too much for other people without noticing.
You're crying now.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Because no, you're feeling guilty now about crying?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So the pattern is repeating and repeating. So you are not here for nothing. You are here for a reason because you feel guilty in the moment you're crying now. I don't care. But this doesn't help because your husband also says, I don't care where the scissors are, and you are not guilty.
No.
But as a child, you felt too much.
Yes.
Are these the
And
right
I think,
words?
I learned that I am too much when I don't know, and maybe even at the times I feel most at ease with myself. So when I'm happy, unaware, when I'm singing or making music, or
this makes me sad, because when you are at the peak of being yourself and joyfully enjoying life in this moment, then there's this risk of being accused of being too much.
Yes.
Blocking other people's way
Yes.
to be happy.
And I'm thinking now, before I met my husband, we are together for 17 years, so it's a very long time. But before that, I had a boyfriend for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember now when we visited his friends, he always told me, you are loud and you talk too much, so you should be aware that you should shut up more.
He said so.
Yes. And I thought, okay, let's try
Maybe
to
he's
do
right.
better.
So you created a smaller version of yourself.
Yes. And I know it's weird because I know I can be quite impulsive. Maybe I am sometimes loud, and I use a lot of words, and I can be a lot, but I know, and intense, but I know there are people who like that. So that's why I said my friend.
Hello. I do. I like
thank
people being themselves without judgment, without restricting themselves, acting like children can do. I hope everybody, being an adult, has remained and conserved the ability to be joyful, spontaneous, and loud. Children are loud. And if you constantly have to restrict yourself being loud or afraid standing in a way when it's in traffic, then you are really amputating yourself of a lot of emotions and desires and whatever.
And I'm thinking now, one of the things I struggle with a lot with my own kids is that the fact that they're allowed, which is absurd and a horrible thing to do. I see myself being this guilt-inducing parent I think I have had myself.
Mm-hmm.
I will try to stop history repeating itself. So I want to be an other parent where my children can see the nice version of me. I would like that.
Yeah, I would like that too. But if you don't pay attention to this wish, you are repeating the same pattern again because you feel guilty the moment you don't succeed.
Yes.
So the liberation is that you feel free to make mistakes and feel really free of this constant burden of feeling guilty, because you will make mistakes as a mother in the future.
Yes,
and now.
I know.
You have made some, because every parent does. The problem is not how to be perfect. The problem is how to live with not being perfect and be at ease with this in the same time.
You know, with children, as a parent, you are definitely a lot of the time in their way. You know, I am
like they are in your way too.
Yes, but it's my.
If I may add so.
Of course, of course, they are. But as a parent, I think it's my job to encourage them. But as well, they need some boundaries, of course. So I cannot just let them do everything they want all day long. So I am the one who has to tell them some things they cannot.
It's part of your job.
Yes,
as a parent.
Yes. So it's really hard for me to see the difference between where these boundaries are.
Yeah, I know, but this is not the problem, because this is a dilemma you will experience the coming decades as a parent. And also when they grow older, still you have a task you are still their parent in a way, or let go of them in a way, which is a difficult process. But for me, the question is not how can I be a perfect mother, because this is repeating the deeper problem that you don't want to feel, you want to prevent to feel guilty. Mm-hmm. So for me, the problem is deeper, and it's about the question, how can you help yourself to embrace this impulsive child in yourself that is allowed to walk around in this earth and on this earth and enjoy life? How can we bring this child back to life again? Because I have the assumption that you have censored this part of yourself and suppressed it, because you have trained yourself not to be too much.
Yes, and there are situations I love dancing and going out. So I do not repress it only. So
no, but I want you to liberate it in the family situation and in traffic. So the core of this conversation for me is that you find yourself too much, too much.
Yes.
If I am my true self, spontaneously, impulsively, whatever, then I am too much.
I'm too much. I'm bothering other people, and I do not know when I am doing that.
No, because you are a childish child. unaware of how your behavior affects other people.
And unaware
which
of
is
other
part
people,
of the problem.
only thinking about myself.
This naive way of a la 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 dancing around in life, but then blocking other people to be happy. So is too much the word?
Yes, I think so.
She was a little bit too much. She was loud and she was talking too much, using too many words and not asking questions. She was really, oh man, we're so tired. It's good she's gone. Is this your anxiety?
Yes. And especially when I didn't notice myself. So
and the worst thing is she didn't notice. She just kept on talking and talking about, I don't know what about she was talking about. I don't know, but I don't get her anyway. Yes. So being unaware of this is part of the problem. Too much and being unaware of being too much.
Yes, because I always have to be aware that I might be too much.
Too much. Yeah. So too much are the words.
Yeah.
So now knowing this, now we come to this point. We get the core, the essence of the problem. Nobody wants to think about himself as being too much. So now I understand why these situations are painful or complicated for you, because you don't want to be too much.
Yeah.
So this is what I'd like to give you into consideration. So now you have suppressed this thought and you try to adjust yourself to situations, be helpful, whatever, and you have suppressed this negative self-image. Now, how can you get rid of such a negative self-image? Not by solving it. This is what you've done all your life. You try to solve it or preventing it, that did you feel too much. The only thing is make fun of this self-image you carry with yourself so you can detach from it. I want you to detach from this self-image. So make fun of it. I am too much. Why are you talking about, I am too much, but then not as a description, but as making a joke about it. Mm-hmm. You are much. I like people who are much. And then sometimes you are too much. Maybe I am sometimes. Everybody can be too much now and then. And only by joking about it, you can let go of this continuously voice in your head that tells you are too much, you are too much, too much. Let's talk to this voice and say, now and then I'm too much, so who cares?
Yeah.
So you care. Thank you very much, because you are helping me not to be too much, which is now and then helpful. Yeah, but in essence, I am not too much. I am just here on Earth.
Yes.
So make a joke about it. Make a T-shirt or a mug and put words on it. I am too much. Buy a very big mug. So this is a good laugh.
Yeah. Well, that would be great.
And then a big mug, right?
Yeah, of course, because I also like drinking too much and always have 2 coffee instead of 1. So that's me. I
can live with people drink 2 coffees. For me, that's not that big a problem. I can live with somebody who is waiting for me in front of the line, who wants to turn left and waits for a car from the other. I can live with somebody who doesn't know where the scissors are. Your child can live with you as a mother, not having water in that moment there with you. People can live with you. Yeah. You can live with yourself. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I think is very painful is that I think that you, as a child, were very well capable of being in touch with your intuition, with your joy, with your pleasure to live, to be here and really enjoy life. And I think it's a horror that people around you suppress this naive, childish way of experiencing and really enjoying life and suppress this tendency. So for me, this is a kind of cruel amputation of all the capacities and abilities you carry with you. And you have suppressed them since then too. So this is a shame, because there's a good, nice thing about being too much. I think nobody thinks that Mick Jagger is being too much when he's singing to a crowd of 60,000 people and showing all of himself. We love people who show themselves and who are, in a way, too much. Because being too much is also being yourself and not thinking about how should be, what I think. Just live.
And
those who live are too much in a way.
Yeah. And it's also a way of giving. If you Mick Jagger as an example, he is sharing.
He doesn't
things.
restricting himself to think, I feel guilty, I sing so loud. No, he just sings very loud. He is too loud. This is his purpose, being loud.
Yes.
He's paid for being loud.
Yes. Well, it's a good example. But
we love people who are too much, who are living without continuously censorship. We love these people because they are spontaneous, authentic, and real. These people live.
I know, and I can be like that because that's who I am. So it's not that I only suppress it. So I think, well, it's making me sad as well. And I think maybe I didn't repress myself that much. I mean, I was loud and too much. So, and I feel guilt toward my parents when I hear you say this, because I think they did their best, but
by telling you that you are too much, they didn't do a good job.
no.
No, they didn't.
But I did.
And I presume they didn't do it purposely.
No,
but it's not
they did
about
not.
If they are bad or good as a person. It's about it has damaged you. It did. And you have to recognize this as a fact, not as something that you can point your fingers to your parents. It's not about them. It's about what it did to you.
Yeah. And it's not their fault, but it just happened.
It's not okay. No, it is.
Oh.
And by allowing yourself to say that this is not okay, then you can heal your longing for live a more naive, authentic, original, childish life. This is why it's important to recognize these facts as facts.
Yeah, thank you. I think it is.
You're welcome. How do you feel now?
Yeah. I thought about this subject, of course, a lot, but I thought I had to learn how to live with this constant feeling of guilt. That I should maybe wear a T-shirt with the text "guilty," but it's not. But that's not the.
No, there's a pattern underneath.
Yes,
the pattern is that you are too
it
much.
is.
You are too much.
So it's nice to know that, and I have to embrace that side, and in my children as well.
Yeah, I want to give you an afterthought. Maybe you are too little. Oh, there's hesitation here. Maybe you are too little in a lot of situations. I have the assumption. As I said, I like people that shout and talk and now and then don't listen. And because I am very assertive for myself, I can come up for myself. You can block my way. Don't be afraid for me. I'm strong enough. So maybe you should just pick stronger people. Your children, I think your children love to see this spontaneous side of yourself. I think they don't. I think your husband loves to see the spontaneous. Put the music on too loud, and maybe they say, "Well, can it be a little bit softer?" Okay, then you will. So make mistakes. Just be the best version. Be the loudest. No, not the best. Not the best, because this refers to guilt. But be the loudest version of yourself now and then, because you're grown and you know when to restrict yourself a little. You're not naive. So be the loudest version of yourself and rely on the fact that you have responsibility enough to know that when you have to take it easy now and then. But just be the loudest version of yourself.
Yes, I will.
How does this sound?
Well, it sounds nice, actually, because that's exactly what I want. I want my children to experience the nice side of me. I told you friends are important to me, and when I'm not at home and when I'm going out and dancing, I love live music. I
can let go.
Yes,
then. Yeah.
I know. I'm a nice person to go to a party with.
Yeah.
But I always think, why can I not be? I want to share that with my children, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not able to, but I'll try.
Yeah, but don't do your best, because doing your best refers to guilt again. So be careful with trying. I'm very aware of words like trying.
Trying, yeah. Okay.
So you want your children, I presume, to be spontaneous, naive, whatever. You want them to be loud in a way.
Yes.
And give them the best example you can by being yourself. So
by being
this, and that's enough. You don't have to do any more. You don't have to try things. Just let go. It's not about doing your best. It's about being your best.
Being, yes.
These are good words. Not about doing your best, but being your best.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with myself now.
It's a new tile or a new book cover, maybe.
Maybe. But I think these words sound very well for you, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, congratulations with
Thank
this.
you very much.
And the funny thing is, the nice thing is, you don't have to do your best to be so, because this is what you are in essence. You are spontaneous, vivid, loud. You are loud. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
And you can be soft too.
Yeah.
So use the whole spectrum.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Do you have a kind of conclusion?
Well, I learned something important, and I'm not allowed to use the word try now, but I will be loud and maybe
let
more,
go.
and sometimes too much.
And let go may be better than try.
Let go. I let go, and I trust other people to stop me when they need to.
Yeah, and if these people are all the time experiencing you as a burden, being too loud, maybe these friends don't fit you.
No,
it's not friends that they never do that. So.
No. Well, then these are definitely the final words. And thank you for having me here. Hope you can live the best you if you want to.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. A little bit loud, but that's okay. Yeah.
Do you want to flip think your own problem too? In Berthold Gunster's bestseller Flip Thinking, you will learn all about the life-changing art of turning problems into opportunities. Flip Thinking is available in England, Italy, Portugal, South Korea, United States, and soon in 17 other countries too. For info, check out flipthinking.info.